party started, I'd like to introduce John Venables, who is our president for ISS.
Thank you, Barrett and Pete. Just a couple of brief words. First of all, on behalf of the ISS, thank you, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here. It's great to see this overflowing crowd, which is great. It's been 37 years since our founding as the ISS, and this is just a reminder that the ISS has really served as the representative organization for the large yacht industry. So why is that? It's because the ISS represents the entire industry. It's all yachting professions, and it's all countries. So we're not country specific, we're not profession specific, we try to be the overarching entity. So our mission is really to connect the global yachting community, and we do that through education, collaboration, and recognition. And our recognition side is an awards side and in other ways. The education side is this is an excellent example of what we do, today's program. If you are not yet an ISS member, I would ask you to please consider joining us at the website. If you are a member, thank you very much. And we ask you to remember that the ISS is a fully volunteer-based organization, so please do what you can to get more involved. You can consider upgrading your membership, or you can help support an event like this with your sponsorship. You can join a committee. As a member, you're free to join one of the committees. We've got a lot of interesting things going on. So thank you very much for that. And one of the taglines that we've used at the ISS for a number of years was, the ISS is good for you, it's good for your business, and it's good for the industry. So with that, we have two excellent sessions lined up today. Carrying on from the earlier session that we've had with the Mare Forum, we're going to continue with an excellent panel on artificial intelligence and its growing impact across our industry. Before we start that, I just want to thank our education committee co-chairs, which is Pete Southgate and Barry Wright. Thank you very much. I think they're behind me. And also our session chair for today will be Rebecca Toronto. Thank you, Rebecca. And our session moderators, Christina Augustine. Where's Christina? Yeah. And Louise DeBasto. So where's Louise? In the back. In the back. Okay. You'll be in the front shortly. And again, thank you to our panelists, thank you to the Mare Forum, and of course, thank you very much to our sponsors for their vital financial support. And that would be Wright Maritime Group, Moore & Company, Armada Club, Seahub, Naiad Dynamics, Hill Robinson, and Burger Boat Company. Without the support of these professionals that have done this on a volunteer basis and these companies, this event would not be possible. So thank you and enjoy. With that, I'd like to introduce Rebecca Toronto. She's an officer of the ISS and a member of the board of directors, and she's today's session chairperson.
All right, thank you, John. Thank you. Well, hello and welcome, everyone. It's definitely my pleasure to welcome you to the 2026 International Super Yacht Society Leadership Seminar, and where we're going to kick off the first of two heavy-hitting and relevant conversations. What makes today particularly valuable is the depth of perspective that we have in this room. We're bringing together leaders from across design, brokerage, build, management, engineering, classification, technology. Each vantage point brings a shared responsibility in shaping where our industry moves ahead in the future. So my role this afternoon is simply to guide us through the sessions, keep us on time, and ensure we make the most of the conversation. And with that, I would like to introduce our panel moderator, Christina Augustine. Christina is the founder of Southern Sky AI, a structured AI adoption advisory practice for maritime leaders. She's a certified AI consultant and is completing her Master of Artificial Intelligence with a particular interest in governance-led adoption as an admitted lawyer in Australia. Christina's path to this work actually spans 20 years in the super yacht industry. The first decade as crew, where I first met her many years ago, and the second as Fleet Business Manager for the Wright Maritime Group. So please join me in welcoming Christina, who will introduce and guide our panel of experts on this topic.
Thank you very much. I'm so grateful. Oh, there's a cord.
Come this way.
So grateful to be asked to moderate today. I don't want to stand in front of many people. I think all of us are feeling with artificial intelligence a very similar feeling, and that is, a few years ago there was this dam, kind of water building up behind a dam that was machine learning and technology improving up until that point in 2022 when the dam burst. And all of a sudden, we were flooded with technology and what this, it was access that changed. And all of a sudden, all the water is spilling out, and we're all trying to keep our heads above water. And I think that's a really common feeling that I've noticed speaking to many businesses about what is artificial intelligence and what it means. So today we've gathered a group of professionals who want to share their expertise and insights on the topic. So I'd like to introduce panelists. Well, they can introduce themselves, first by their name, a bit about what their expertise is, and one word where AI is in the industry right now that you feel. So, Jake, we'll start with you.
Hey everyone, really good to be here. My name is Jake. I am a software engineer. So I am building this thing that everyone is now interested in, which is AI. I am not particularly well positioned to comment on adoption in this industry, so I'm not going to try and do that, but I can definitely show you what the art of the possible can be.
Thanks. And then, Sarah, what about you?
Hi, I'm Sarah Sheikh. I'm the founder of a creative agency called Vacancy, so I'm going to be speaking to you guys kind of coming from the marketing and creative standpoint and how AI is making things better and worse for us on the creative side. And as far as where we are, I mean, I think it's, we're at the beginning, right? But it's really easy to feel like we're already behind. So I hope that we'll be able to share some takeaways that you can implement today and not feel totally intimidated by what's coming down the pipeline with AI.
And in one word, where do you feel the industry is with AI right now?
Just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Claire, how about yourself?
Hi, I have two roles at the moment. So I have my marketing agency, which is done a lot of AI in the industry already, creating visuals for some of the biggest brands. And then on the other side, I'm now starting a new project called the Armada Club, and how it wraps into AI is how we as an industry is going to be the most targeted, if not already, with hacking and cyber and all the things that come with it, but also how we can give reassurance to our clients, but also find new clients on the internet. It's very much a reset. So in terms of where the industry's at, I think, and I know from the auditing I've done, that no one's really applied it in a way that's sustainable from a website and social. So we've got a lot to do, so we're really at the start.
Alistair, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, can you yes? Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Hi, good afternoon everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Alistair Callender, originally from England, been in the States since 2011. My background's international awards in yacht design, sustainability, and the International Super Yacht Society awarded me an Excellence in Innovation in 2011. So yeah, it's great to be here. For the last 15 years, I've been involved in yacht charter vacations and yacht sales in a brokerage capacity. And about 6 years ago, I launched the Americas region for Moravia Yachting. We're part of the Hill Robinson Group, and we are headquartered in Monaco. And I think we're probably at the very start of AI in our industry. And one word might be fledgling. We're right at the start. Yeah.
I like fledgling. That's a good one. And Christina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me. My name is Christina Norris, born in Brazil, Dutch parents, German school, and now in business, and so very international background here.
consensus.
Wonderful. So it's a natural intelligence. Yes. Jake, what about you? Have you got a specific, I know what you were going to say.
Have I got a specific tool?
Yeah, AI application you've been using.
So we have an engineering team building AI. The only game in town is Claude from Anthropic. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone who is not using it to build applications. Definitely if there are better solutions out there. But if you are building software, building AI, it's the only game in town.
What about you, Claire? What tool have you been using this week?
I would agree. Claude I'm in love with it. And I think other applications, I think always to have a couple, because then you can also cross-reference. Like I said, that my AIs argue with each other, and very much if you ask it the opinion of one of the other AIs work, it certainly will give you one, so it's always very interesting.
Alistair, what about yourself?
It was about 20 minutes ago before coming here from on the back of a yacht with a client. He asked me a question which I wanted to double check on. Hello? Maybe it is. Yeah, so 20 minutes ago I have a co-pilot for my phone, so I was just able to get the answer I needed quite quickly.
Sarah, what about you?
Just experimenting this week with Pod Cowork, building a skill to draft responses to all of my emails when I wake up at 7 in the morning. So it's been very, very helpful.
Yeah, great. And myself too, it's been Claude. I think that's the winner on the panel right now. But also before I came in, putting these little notes together, I was using Gamma, which is a pretty cool one for slideshows and things like that. So, Jake, you brought up your building specifically for the marine industry. So, what's it doing well in operations right now? And where does the gap between promise and reality sit?
Yeah, so we have a range of clients. They tend to be bigger enterprises who have the appetite and the budget rather than smaller companies. We are seeing that there are so many bureaucratic processes in this sector. A lot of paperwork. It takes a lot of people to move the boat even an inch, as I'm sure you know better than I. And so any process that is so repetitive, it can be procurement of foods, it can be flagging of vessels, with an asterisk, of course. It can be recruitment, it can be onboarding. There are so many processes that you can design one time and have them running again and again and again and again. So no two clients are the same. We haven't seen the same client ask for the same thing twice. So that is just the range of things we've seen. But clients are starting to get a little bit more excited about what is possible. We're seeing more advanced applications from, what 6 months ago was quite a basic use case.
We'll get another microphone for you so it doesn't cut out. I feel like I'm leading witnesses here. Speaking to the microphone, make it clear. So for businesses in the room who want to start somewhere, what does a realistic first implementation look like? And what needs to be true before it's worth attempting?
So the people that win, the teams that win, they have two things. They have to want it to work. That's the first thing. You've got to have an innovative streak, which we know that this industry does. It's constantly reinventing itself. You have to want it to work. So don't start the approach with here's the 10 things why I dislike it. Tell us what do you want, what's the vision, and work backwards from there. So that's the first thing. We're seeing a very defensive approach. We think starting from that vision and going backwards actually is working far better. The second thing is AI is as good as the things you are connecting it to. It's a brain with no body, it's completely dismembered, and it can connect into all of your systems, your emails, your CRM, your travel booking, any system and software that you have, it can connect. So it's as good as your use of those systems. If you've got a CRM that is kept up to date beautifully, as I'm sure you will do, you're going to have no problem. If you try and apply AI and your human team have been using those tools sporadically, it's going to take a long time for you to migrate data and get set up. So you need a foundation, operational foundation. Make sure that you're using your existing tools to the best of their abilities, making sure you've got great data. AI can only do good things with good data. Bad data in, bad data out. So those are the two things: attitude and proficiency.
Oh, thanks. So, Alistair, you're quite close with owners and managers in what you do. You just mentioned you're on the back of a boat in the show. Are owners talking about AI right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe a year ago people were saying, "What is AI?" And now people are saying, "How can I use AI? How can I use AI?" So I think there's a sort of paradigm shift in conversation that I'm having with yacht owners, charter clients, and more broadly through the industry, whether I'm chatting with a captain or colleagues. And in terms of who we're speaking with, I suppose I have touch points across the range. We speak with owners, with yacht managers, captains, charter clients, also shipyards and the teams there. And I think everyone independently are all looking at how can they improve efficiency, how can they utilize AI on board a yacht, and we're certainly having conversations around operational use of AI and how you can save time as well. If you're a yacht manager, for example, there's a huge amount of paperwork and things involved on the back end, and if you can save time, whether it's 10, 20, 30% of your day through automated technology and AI, I think then you can allocate that time even more efficiently to supporting the end user, which in our case is the yacht owner and charter client.
What is the attitude of the yacht owner? So they're inquiring, what can you do with it, and they're interested. But do you're face to face, so what's the attitude around it? Are they using it themselves? Are they coming to you with ideas?
Yeah, all the above, I think. Certainly, conversations evolve into how can we utilize AI on board, how can we mitigate energy consumption, how can we improve operational procedures, and looking at maintenance programs and things. And so I think it really helps encourage the human element. I think AI is there to support people, and I think if you use it in the right way, it can be a lot more efficient and a clever use of your time as a result.
Do you get the impression in your conversations that the owners are using AI themselves?
Yes. Yeah.
And how do you think they're using them? How do you think they're using them?
I think it depends on their background. Some owners are from the tech world and from the tech space, and so by default are further along and have been using it for longer. But I was chatting to a new client a couple of weeks ago. They made their wealth in property, unrelated to tech, and they're also doing some research and asking questions and constantly seeing how we can utilize AI, whether it's hyper-personalization with looking at itineraries for a charter vacation, whether it's looking at a new build project and looking at efficiencies in the design and optimization space. So yeah, there's every week we're having conversations that do sort of evolve and use, and how can we use AI in an efficient way.
What comes up in the design and optimization space you're talking about?
As ever, a yacht, the space on a yacht is always at a premium, and so if we can make some savings with the space and particularly the storage, if you're using optimized CAD program, CAD program, computer-aided design program, you can then use AI to help with that design process and make it more efficient, certainly save time and energy. Is that design evolution where you can really make headway much faster? It won't take away the extraordinary creativity of the best yacht designers in the world, some of whom are in the room today, but certainly it can only help and speed up that process.
So sometimes the conversation about AI actually starts before it gets to you, it seems like. So the owners already have an idea about what they think is, and they're doing their own research possibly in their own thought. So it makes me then think, and I've gone down this rabbit hole as well, is how much do they know about you as a business and as a person before they even come to get you, because that starts before it finds you. So Sarah, I wanted to ask you, the conversation, shifted a little from traditional SEO to now what we call AEO, which is answer engine optimization. Thought you might have some insights you'd like to share on that topic from what you do.
Well, I think a lot of people, of course, are starting to pay attention to AEO. SEO, may have been part of their marketing strategy for several years now, and something that they look at as just, an integral part, something that they have to have. But with AEO, the way that you're being found is so different, and so we're going to see a lot of shifts on content creation. So if anyone in the room drives a Tesla and you're used to asking your car a question, the way that we're going to make those inquiries, the way that we're going to start searching for things is so much more personalized. To your point, you're giving these engines context about yourself. So, instead of just writing in, XYZ yacht for sale and wanting to be the first one to rank for that, you're giving it context. I have a family of 4. I spend my summers in Europe. What is the best yacht for my family for a charter? So I think that what we'll start to see is, savvy brokerages and companies and anyone that wants to be found for those kind of certain questions start to shift the type of content that they're putting out and become much more personalized to the specific inquiries.
So then what does that practically mean for a business, a yachting business, that hasn't started thinking about this yet?
I think the conversations are just starting. I actually just had one 15 minutes ago, and I think that companies that want to be on the forefront of AEO are going to be the same companies that have been first adopters in other marketing trends. And so I think that what that looks like from a monthly standpoint is, again, just figuring out what are the things that we specialize in, what are the spaces that we can uniquely own, and starting to gear content towards that. I think that people are going to be looking for specialists versus generalists, and their content should mirror that. So speaking practically, think about the questions that you get from your clients every day, and that's the kind of content that you should be putting out.
An early conversation we had was around social media and that wave. What parallels do you draw with this AI wave?
So I do some work with IBA, the International Yacht Brokers Association, and there's still brokerages that haven't adopted social media. And so I think 5 years down the road, we'll see that there's still companies in the industry that haven't adopted AI, and they're just kind of lovingly referred to as like the mom and pop shops, but this is, as we referenced, it's a tool that's accessible to everyone. So I think that people should adopt it, and they should be excited about it and see all the benefits, that it can bring to their business.
What if they don't?
And like anything, they're going to be outpaced by first adopters, people that are savvy enough to understand that this is the next big thing, and they will be left behind. And certainly in this industry, there's some big players that they've probably been working on this for the last 12 months, and they already have a strategy that they're implementing. And so, I think that there's space for a lot of different companies in this industry, different sizes and levels of sophistication on the marketing and tech side. But certainly there will be people that make the most and take the most advantage of this.
So then, if you haven't started, what's one thing, anyone, a business owner in this room, should do in the next 90 days towards becoming invisible to AI-driven discovery?
Use your favorite AI engine and ask it what to do. It will lay out a perfect, 90-day strategy for you. I think with these tools, the more comfortable you become using them in your everyday life for personal, practical reasons, the more comfortable you become giving them full access to your Gmail and your calendar and your CRM and all of these other tools that can enhance these platforms.
Yeah, it's really the difference between being cited and, or being found and being cited, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I was doing some research on this earlier, and it's not even about being found. It's you're either the answer or you're not.
Yes.
And so,
There's no list.
There's no list.
Yeah.
There's no page of results. You're either going to be included or you're going to be left out. And it's different from SEO in that way. You don't have the opportunity to be on those page results.
So, AI can do in terms of facial recognition. Want to talk us through a little bit? Talk us through that. It's a little creepy.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, so actually this time last year, I was at the Palm Beach show, and I was sitting on one of the upper decks, and I was just facial searching people, because you can now, and that's the scary thing. So you can see who's a client, who's not, a broker, because generally people's face does come up on the internet, whether it's on their about page of their corporate website or they've been snapped at a party, and now everyone is identifiable by their face. So, and it's a free app, it's called PIM Eyes, and everyone should look and see what comes up when you scan their face. There is some interesting results for certain people because...
Can you say the name of that one again?
PIM Eyes, PIMEYES. And you don't even need to sign in. You can literally log on and take a picture and it'll come up with results. When I first did it, there was me at the back of a photo at a buffet, and I'm like, oh God, you know, conference photos that I didn't know exist. And that's the world we're coming into. So you no longer need to be famous, per se, to be recognised. And I had a conversation with a broker who's like, this woman came up to me and she knew everything about me, and oh, how did she know? And she knows at this event, and it was super, and it's because she used PIM Eyes before. And there's a lot of scammers and fraudsters that are also using this to, you know, befriend you, you know, say personal things to pretend that they know you already. Escorts are actually one of the key people that I've noticed that people have spoken about using it. Who's got the money in the room, you know, sort of thing, which is what someone mentioned to me in Dubai. But we've got to know that, you know, as an industry that's, you know, connected to some of the most powerful people in the world, you know, you've got to know that this technology exists and how your clients could be potentially, you know, a victim of it, but also yourselves being connected, and how we then operate as an industry, you know. So is there a photographer at every event? Do you need to put all the images online, or can you restrict it? You know, how you operate online is really important, so you need to audit yourself. You know, what is online about you and what can be misconstrued? And then also from that, you know, own your name as a domain, because the future of search is people. Because if you were going to research a company, you would start with, okay, who's the CEO at the moment of Burgess? Okay, what's their background? And that's what AI is doing. Everyone is a leader in brokerage if you look at their websites. Everyone has a nice website, everyone has nice Photoshops, photos. So, okay, so you're all leading, you're all cited by the similar publications. Okay, so what's the staff turnover like? Because you can now track that. What's the brokers, you know, senior brokers, how many yachts have they actually sold? You know, how many brokerage users? Because that's what you would do if you were hired to research properly what companies you go to. So as AI advances, the people that work for you need to be as on it and as clean as your brand logo, as your, you know, as your brochures. Because as we all know, brokerage is really about the brokers and their personal relationships have run this industry, and it's more important than ever, and brokers are definitely not going away, because the richest people in the world are definitely want a human at the end of that phone.
For one, thoroughly terrified us.
Yeah.
Well, we're shaking in our boots. Tell us more about the listening devices that you mentioned.
Yeah, so you can buy a car key, and you drop it at a stand, and it will record everything around it for 16 hours. It will send it to your email, and it will bullet point all the things spoken around that car key, and then you can then go the next day and pick it up, and oh, did someone leave a car key? And this is like $50 technology. And when I went to a conference recently for finance, they were literally had the airport security because they're like a car key, a pen, and now obviously AI can obviously type it all up, and send it, and it's terrifying. So we have to think more about, the simple things of, picking up something and who comes onto the booth. I mean, we just have to sort of be like this, unfortunately. We have to be more aware of how cheap this technology is and how accessible it is.
I've seen necklaces as well that look just a little bit
Yeah.
cheap, and it makes me wonder. I don't want to get, what's it called? Paranoid.
Yeah.
Thank you. Don't want to get paranoid, but these things are around. If it's hanging on your neck, you need to watch what you're saying, and then, what does that mean for privacy and data in our industry?
Yeah.
What do you see? Because you've seen all this, so what thoughts does that bring up for you, and how we combat that? And
I think every yacht company should be putting out a message to their clients that they're thinking about it, they're having regular trainings with their staff, everyone's more aware, because you don't want to be seen a liability in the circle of their family office, because at the end of the day, a location of where that yacht is or what they're doing or the travel plans are also then used for fraud. So it's more about, a constant education built into your yacht company, and share information between each other. I know at least 4 brokerage houses that have been hacked. One actually redirected to a porn site for a brief moment of time, and it could be the same hacker targeting them all, but because they don't talk to each other and share information because it's seen as a weakness, that then no one learns. And in other industries, there is regular meetings where people are open and they say, look, this is a problem for us too, because at the end of the day, if everyone's more on it and everyone's more united to what is coming, then you're all going to benefit. The top 5 brokerage houses, they all circle around the clients and people talk, so you might as well have an open conversation about security and cyber between you and help each other.
I'm terrified.
Sorry.
I'm terrified. Christina, you've been in this industry for 30 years across many aspects. You already announced a few. In yacht design, the designing and delivering of yachts, where do you see it applicable and how do you use it? Because you already described yourself a little as the black sheep. Why is that?
Well, not really, because I think AI is great stuff, especially for designers. I remember doing everything on drawing boards, and then AutoCAD came. You could do everything half the time, and then the 3D renders came, AutoCAD Max. I remember sending those drawings out. It took you 3 hours to render, then we could back. Then NVIDIA came with those graphic processors. Yay, I have a computer that can generate renders. And now I heard that NVIDIA made and is launching not a graphic processor, but an AI graphic processor, even more powerful. Hello? Oh gosh. No? Yeah, even more powerful. So can you imagine what we can do as designers, our creativity? So I think it's all very good, but as I sail in contact with nature, you're talking to a client. I think the human aspect of being a designer will never go away, because you really have to represent and create something that mirrors the personality of your client in their yachts. And not only that, I think the biggest responsibility we are getting into aluminum, into ores, and transforming things that were on Mother Earth for years and years into these machines, into these yachts. I use beautiful onyx to make these beautiful panels with lights, and then I cut a tree and I make this beautiful table and a chair that's being out there, the teak decking. So we are really interfering with the earth, and then how far do we want to go and still be part of nature? We have our destination. So as an industry, when you're talking to a client, let's be very conscious of that as well. So maybe that answers your question.
Yeah. We had an earlier conversation as well about how AI models, by their very nature, have been trained on everything that's come before. So that means, could mean designs, it could mean all intellectual property that's been in the world is now how it has so much knowledge. And that really raises, especially in your line of work, a big concern about intellectual property. So I thought you'd like to share some thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. So this is something that before the tsunami, I started writing the book, right? So the authors say, authors cannot write AI, they hang you up. Even if you use AI generated cover, the whole society will hang you up as an author. So for you to register your book at the Library of Congress, you have to sign a paper that you did not use AI, or at least didn't mention. You have to make a list of the drawings and the wording that were authentic, your creation, and a list of references that were published that you used in your book from the past. So they take that very serious, otherwise you don't get the certification. So I don't know how to apply that in our industry, but it's something to think about about morality and how far we want to have the efficiency and the time override our core values as humans, the morality that goes behind AI. So just putting it out there. No judging.
I think this panel, each individually has raised so much questions and thoughts, existential ones, small ones, technical ones. Were there people that wanted to ask questions of the panel? Okay.
Thanks, Christina. How are you? Great. Thank you very much. Of course, we're an industry that doesn't just run as a business. We're an industry that's based on the yachts themselves and operating the yachts. And I think it's great that we have so many captains in the room. And I would also think it would be really interesting to hear more from that end of it. And so actually what I'm here to do is not ask a question. I would like to introduce somebody that has experience with that, who's sitting right next to me. Captain Liam is the winner of this year's ISS Distinguished Crew Award. He is also a very, very well-known captain of the yacht Unbridled that not only has traveled the seas, but is known as an educator of not only his own crew, but additional crew. And a lot of us think a lot of his opinion. And I just happened to catch that he did a recent seminar on AI on board. So Liam, can you give us any of your comments?
Thanks everyone for your time, and thanks for putting me on the spot, Norma. I think we're blessed with such a well-educated and obviously exceptional panel, so I can't add to that. What I can say and question is the authenticity, the privacy, the confidentiality. They're the assets that these owners and charter clients value, and that's my job to protect it. I think there's a tool here that we can use. I think it's something not to be afraid of, but I think it's something that we need to protect and go into the industry like that from a humanity perspective and look forward with the opportunity for it. So it gives us more time with the clients, gives us more time with our crew, gives us more time to develop those personal relationships. So it's not so much a question, more of a gratitude, and also be curious about it. Pick up your phone, like Claire's saying. Check it. I had a conversation on the drive yesterday for 35 minutes with ChatGPT. And it was a great conversation. And then of course I with my wife, and I'm like, I don't know which one's better or worse. I'm confused. My wife's right. But thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Who else has been in? So go ahead.
On your point, maybe the conversation was better than your wife, but she didn't smell as good.
The human aspect of it.
Thank you. I think my concern will be when the panelists mentioned about dropping the key and recording those conversations on board of the vessels. How do you then safeguard that situation from happening? Because I know that there will be crew members. They will, if they have an issue with the captain or whoever, and they drop that key and record that conversation, then what happens then? How, as a captain, maybe Liam, as a captain, how would you handle a situation like that?
Personally, for me, it's the crew develop a culture on board, and it comes from the leadership. It comes from companies like ISS. We have issues with crews taking pictures with uniforms, so it's not something we're unfamiliar with at all. Crew are not allowed to take pictures of clients or guests or owners with our uniform on, even off or on charter, off the vessel. So it does stem from a confidentiality culture.
Yeah.
So yes, there is contracts to protect that and NDAs within the industry. So it's not something that we're afraid of. For us, we look at like a tool, how to be more efficient, how to get engineers out of the engine room computer onto the tools, onto the people side of things. So chief officers, that's the biggest growth area I see. Chief engineers, chief officers and brokers, their lives can become so much more efficient. It's hugely exciting if we use the right advice.
So I'd like to add to that. So working
And who are you?
and Laura always puts people on the spot. Anyway, crossing over to the film business, obviously I'm film captain. My true core career is maritime. And they've been doing this for years, okay? So they've been wearing microphones around their neck their whole life, right? So when you're on public display and you're on television, there's no privacy. So I wouldn't say this. Go into this thinking you have no privacy. So what you say in public, that's something you need to pay attention to. Because just before COVID happened, I did some stupid things. I made this commercial on CNBC or whatever, and it was like no unnecessary travel, make sure you wear your mask. Lee and I were in a store in Colorado. We were the last ones to wear a mask. And we put puppy mask, the filter, on Instagram. We're like, we got our mask on. I almost got fired. And that's exactly what you have to pay attention to. You can't be goofy or goofing off. And I like what you said. You can't really, like the uniforms with the crew, that is something that it's a constant. Even when they film below deck, they have so many people filming as it's being filmed. Do you know how hard they tried to keep it quiet? I'm like, why? It's already out there. So now the film industry has taught me a lot about privacy, which I haven't. So, anyway.
I'd like to go to what Jake said a little while ago, and I think your suggestion, Jake, was positivity. Start with the goal, and then let it come to you. So if you're working with AI, just give it the goal. Don't be the witness, and let it come to you. Jake, is that along the line?
Yeah, I think that's two points on this. The first, approach the problem as you would any business problem. Start with the vision, then challenge it, and work out all the reasons why you can't do it. And they are design constraints. So you work around the problem, as you were saying. These are not new problems. Confidentiality is not a new problem. Data protection. You guys have been in the cloud for a decade. These are not new problems. They are the same problems in new areas. So you've already designed away all of these issues to date. So do not be frightened to take something that could radically transform your lives and the lives of your crew, the lives of your passengers, because of the negative attitude. And I think that's super important. The thing that I will say is, did you guys know there are 2 West Palm Beach Hilton hotels?
Yeah.
So there was one about 8 minutes that way. I was nearly late to the earlier session. And the way that I got here was using Google Maps. I used the GPS in my phone, and it helpfully helped me arrive on time. Now, is GPS technology a good or a bad technology? Well, if you're asking the Iranians or the Israelis at the moment with the missiles that are driven by GPS, they're going to have a different answer to me, who had a great time in the sun outside getting here. So what is my point? My point is there's no good or bad technology, there are good or bad people. And that has not changed. It has not changed in the last 13.8 billion years since the beginning of time. So it is essential to make sure we've got the guards in place, the policies in place to be ready for some of these changes, but don't let them get in the way of the adoption, because this is not happening, this is already here. This is not some future thing that is going to happen to you. This is already here, and we are seeing so many industries so adjacent to yours. For example, venture capital, family offices, private equity, they've got the same clients as you guys. They are well ahead in these automations. They have exactly the same constraints, probably more. It's far more regulated than this industry. So there are so many parallels to see what it's going to become. Learn their lessons. They've already made all the mistakes. Learn their lessons, but also look at their opportunities. I'm going to turn this off.
Sure, yeah.
Look at their opportunities. See how they have changed the lives of their customers and their team, and build that into your own businesses. So I think have a vision, and also don't be put off by the negativity. Design around that. You already have all done that.
We have a poll on the screen, I don't know if you can see it. I think you can take a QR code with your camera. It's asking the question, where is your business right now with AI? So we're trying to get a group's feeling on this. The first one, personally experimenting, using tools individually, not yet across the business. The second, organisational awareness, the conversations happening internally. Selected deployment, using AI in specific functions or workflows, or structural integration, AI across operations with oversight in place. So we're just trying to take the temperature on the room. So this will be really interesting.
We can't hear you.
Now I'm carrying this around. While we're filling out the Slido, does anybody else want to talk into this very long microphone? I can stretch from here. Nobody take any pictures right now, please. Okay, well, while we're finishing that up then, why don't we go through the panel to all panelists and just sort of do a last, thanks. Is that better? No, it'll work. If someone walks out of the room today and only remembers one thing that each of you said, what do you want it to be? Sarah, you're up there, and we'll start from you and work down.
AI can benefit us much more than we think, and it's nothing to be afraid of. And start small, and you'll get more comfortable with it as you go.
Alison.
Yeah. Hello. From my perspective, I always say, from a broker's perspective, I always say I'm in the relationship business, and I think that's never going to change. I think it's a case of combining AI insights with emotional intelligence, global experience, and importantly, discretion. And it's that strategic application of AI. It won't change my role in terms of the human relationship. In fact, I think it's now even more important than ever to have that relationship. And I think AI is here to help. It won't replace people, but it will replace inefficiencies.
Before we move to you, Claire, there's another Slido question up here. What's the biggest concern about AI in your business? So I think you can go through online, but that's really interesting to find out. Claire, go ahead.
I would say audit yourself, the company, and also, audit from other people's, because a lot of the time, obviously, it's biased. So if you work for Fraser, it'll be more favourable to Fraser because it knows you work for Fraser. So I think, always trialing other AIs to see what comes up for you, and also regionally, there is software you can get that does that. So, you can get an actual, real, audit on where you're actually coming up online, because we've gone from, Google, 98% as long as you're at the front page of Google, your marketing was pretty much okay on digital, and now, you've got 6 or 7 platforms that all say something different about you that people are now using. So I think audit is my key thing.
How would you audit?
It's simple, start asking questions about your company with AI and where they get this information from and how they are coming up with it, and if they, even simple things like, what would be the downside you can see right now in my company? And we've done, and for my clients, we've actually purposely put out editorial knowing that it's to argue against the things that it can see in AI. So are we too busy as a shipyard, or are we, in a location that's not favourable? How can we write an editorial that then says, well, we may be unfavourable location, but we've got this and this and this. So, start thinking about your marketing as, a counter attack to some of the negativities that might be coming up. So, and yeah, there's plenty of softwares out there. I would use the free trial and remember to cancel because some of them are very expensive, and they don't do refunds, some of them, even if you are new. So yeah, that's my advice.
Jake, what about you? What would you like people to remember about your position?
I'll give this mic another go. Here we are. The AIs are effectively much smarter than humans at this point in a very narrow range of things. They are trained on the entirety of the internet, and every year they are getting much smarter. So think of it as having an infinite number of PhD graduates in your companies. If that is what is available to you today, what would you do with it? Would you ask it to rewrite your emails, or is there a step further that we can take? Can we take in this industry that next step? What does it look like beyond writing emails, tidying up copy? There's so much opportunity there. So I think be a little bit more imaginative with the applications and see how far you can push your individual usage.
Christina, what would you like people to remember from how you feel today?
Of course, as a designer, it's always the art side and the organic thinking, the binary, and I know AI is even smarter. We all have PhD. We're in a room with people with very smart people, and then suddenly AI says, "You're nothing, I know everything better." So I am really living in dilemma here because with a picture you can design a whole room using AI, but I still think the organic living and the capacity we have to touch the imagination, the intuition, and our inspiration and instinct, that's something that lives in us, the etheric forces, and that's something that makes us human, and then we have to be smart enough to use the tools for our advantage so we can be more in touch with nature and what's the human being all about. And that's my point of view.
And I suppose for me, my thought would be that don't just start panicking and throwing at AI at everything. Start with a plan and a structure, because otherwise, you're going to actually applying it to the wrong things or the things that don't have the highest value on those applications. So thank you very much to the panelists. Thank you very much, and we'll have a photo of both, so you can get the contact details.
All right. Well, thank you, Christina.